Good evening, everyone. This is Mohammad Saleh Akram, Assistant Professor, Department of Law and Human Rights, University of Asia Pacific. A warm welcome to our Honorable BOT member, Dr. Mohammad Alauddin Sir. A cordial welcome to our Head of the Department, a man with great vision. And today we have with us many distinguished guests, our faculty members and our students. We are truly delighted to welcome you all on this workshop. Before we get started, let me throw some light on purpose of this workshop. This pandemic has restricted and hindered our physical access to a library. At the same time, we have to cope with academic coursework, assignments, and dissertation without proper subscription-based access of databases. This workshop will give you some guidance on how to effectively do legal research on the World Wide Web, find books, articles, and other resources widely available for free. You will also learn how to effectively browse through the materials and make your research more effective and boost your CGPA at university. Now I would like to start today's workshop by inviting today's trainer, Barrister Farhan Muhammad Arab, lecturer LCLS, and our UMCL's alumna for conducting the workshop.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for UAP and UMCLs for giving me this opportunity. So today I'll be taking a workshop on open source legal resources on the World Wide Web. Can I share my screen?
Yes, Farhan, please, you can.
Thank you. Present now. Window. I hope this can be seen. Okay. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So today I'll be taking a workshop on open source legal research on the World Wide Web. As you already know, my name is Farhan. I work as a lecturer at LCLS South, and I have had the privilege and honor of being the first batch student of UMCL's LLM program that was run with collaboration with Sales Foundation, Madanjit Singh, and University of Asia Pacific. And I have had the privilege to graduate from that LLM last year. So during this time, some of you are sitting here today being UMCL students yourself. I was a student last year. And thankfully, we had the privilege that UAP conducted our classes on time and we finished the course in due time, even though the pandemic and the coronavirus outbreak was still ongoing and rampaging at our time as well. So during that tenure, I have had the opportunity, by being a student, to find out how to effectively conduct research on the World Wide Web. When I was a student at University of London, we would have access to various online resources and other databases that came with the University of London library system. But when I was in Bangladesh, something similar was not available because we are not yet that technologically advanced and we're still coping up with the pandemic. So during that time, it was my own research and my own discussion with my friends, my students, my colleagues, that I found some ways to effectively carry out legal research on the internet without having access to a subscription-based service. So today, I will be taking approximately an hour for this workshop, and I'll be guiding all of you, respective dear students, faculties, and everyone, all the distinguished guests present, on a journey on how to do open source legal research. Now, to be very blunt about this, the best place to do legal research or any research for that matter is almost always and usually is a physical library. When I was a student at UAP, I remember in our first semester, we would spend tons and tons of time in the library, going through books and other resources to cope up with the classwork and the assignments and the homeworks. Now, a physical library is always the best place. And I've attached a photo of it so that you can have a look. This is your library. I'm pretty sure you all visit by now because you are not being able to go there. However, you see, like, due to the pandemic, a lot of things have changed. The whole daily life has taken a huge toll. And our limited access to physical library is one of the key differences from online classes to actual classes. Because when you went to classes physically in a campus, you could always drop by the library, and the UAP library is on the same floor as the law department. So you guys even had more advantages. But now that the library is closed, what to do? And bearing in mind, even if you have access to a nearby library or if the access is open, you still have to deal with the fact that recently highest level of COVID-19 cases have been detected in Pakistan, India, and surrounding countries. The second wave that happened in the winter for the European countries, the academics and specialists are saying it's happening in Bangladesh and India right now. So in this time, going to a library to do research does not seem like the most feasible and the best option. And furthermore, as we already know from the news outlets and the government directives, there will be a lockdown from April after April 15th, and many other transport restrictions are there in place. So no public transport, no ride sharing, etc., etc. So having said that, bearing that in mind, we also have to deal with regular online classes and coursework because I know for a fact that the master students are doing 4 or 5 courses this semester, along with those who are in undergraduate. You guys also have to deal with 15 to 20 credits a week. And then in each of your classes, you have different sort of assessment criteria. Either the teachers are telling you to do uh, presentation, assignments, 2,000, 3,000 words, or some of you may be working on your dissertations. So what to do now? Well, let us not lose hope because whenever someone talks to us about research, I mean, just basic research, we always tend to rely too much on this. So whenever you want to start something or do research, I myself find most of the times I go to Google and I type in something, hoping it's gonna be common, like the similar thing is gonna show up. So for most students and faculties and everyone, the first point of contact is usually this search engine called Google. But I would like to reiterate, and I would like to make this strong point about this notable author and this person who writes novels, best-selling novels, and I've had the fortune of reading quite a few of them. And you probably have read Angels and Demons, Da Vinci Code, The Lost Symbol. This author's name is none other than Dan Brown. See, Dan Brown in his book, The Lost Symbol, said a line which I think is very proper in this context. He said, and I quote, Google is not a synonym for research. So, however easy and however accessible Google may sound like to do your legal research, according to Dan Brown, Google is not a synonym for research. And if Dan Brown thinks it's not synonymous with research, I believe that being law students, being more learned and more, you know, articulate than an author, we should not rely on Google for our research alone. All right. So then, what is the method? If you ask me that, Mr. Farr, like, how did you do the research when you didn't have access to a physical library or you didn't have access to subscription-based service? You see, before I come to the method, I want to share like a short story. Uh, Me and three other members of the UM sales cohort decided to participate in a moot in Netherlands. It was the International Criminal Court (ICC) moot court competition, and UM sales, UAP, Asad sir, Ishak sir, Saleh sir, they all supported this proposal and they wanted to help us. However, even in physical libraries in Bangladesh, the ICC related content was scarce. It was not available. At that time, me, Anamika, Sadia, Noman, we sort of scoured the internet to find out where to get our materials, where to get the cases, where to get the statutes, where to get the convention. So that research work for the MOOC had a profound impact on teaching us how to, do open legal research. So I would like to call upon that memory and then we're gonna start. So if we're doing research in Bangladesh, for instance, we want to find a statute, we want to find a legislation which is Bangladeshi, an act of parliament, if I say it in that manner. Bangladesh is like an ain bole. You want to find an act of parliament, a legislation, the best place to start the research, the best place to look is not Google, but to go to this website. The website is given in point number 1, which is BD Laws, Ministry of Law, gov.bd, Laws of Bangladesh. This website has openly available and freely accessible to all those citizens of Bangladesh and everyone with an internet connection, all the laws from 1799, which was the colonial period, to 2021. The old laws that are legislated in English, they're available in English. And since the parliament changed the language of legislation to Bengali, the more recent laws are available in Bengali. You can browse the website, you can read it on the website, and there is also an option to print or save the legislation as a single document inside that website. Also, most of you probably already know this because I believe all of us have smartphones readily available with us. There are many apps on the Play Store, and if you use iPhone, iOS, the App Store, there are apps available, Laws of Bangladesh, Bangladesh Laws, All Laws BD, Advocateship Help, many apps are there inside the Play Store, which also have the Bangladeshi legislation. So I believe that the government has actually done a pretty good job with this website. Sometimes it's down. I'm not saying it's always up, but most of the time this website works and you can access any of the laws that you are being taught in Bangladesh. CPC, CRPC, Penal Code, NIA, everything. Most of the laws are available. Even recent acts of parliament, which are enacted in Bengali, are also in this website. I mean, I don't know if you guys drive or use a motorcycle, but you should definitely read the laws on the new uh, the act that replaced the motor vehicle ordinance, the new act, the road traffic act. You should definitely have a look at that. Okay. For Bangladeshi cases, I'm sorry to say that there isn't much available on the internet. There is the website by the Judiciary of Bangladesh, that is www.judiciary.org.pd/en. They have some reported cases, but the reliability of this website is questionable. Sometimes it's not uplink, so You may not download the files that you need, but other times it works. Now, for reported cases, I found a few places like BD Law Chronicles, Lex BD, Manupatra. There is an issue with those websites that they ask for a subscription fee. So as the topic of our workshop is open source, and if they ask for subscription, that would not be pertinent. So I didn't add those websites in the slide, but you can purchase a subscription, or maybe UAP library has access to one or two of them. You can speak to your librarian. I know for a fact that the place where I teach LCLS, they have access to Manupatra. So Manupatra is an Indian service. They also have, they report most of the high court cases and all the cases of the Supreme Court reported. And nothing beats DLR, BLD when it comes to Bangladeshi cases. So in that regards, you're on a back foot. You will not find all the things that you need if you want to look for a particular case. However, if you're looking for a public interest litigation, PIL case or a writ case, chances are you will find it in the blast.org.bd judgments website. Blast, as you know, is a non-government organization and it's a legal aid organization. One of my faculties in the second semester, Sarah Hussain, is Sarah Hussain ma'am is a integral part of Blast, and that website is very helpful. So as long as Blast was a party to the writ or they were the petitioners, that reported cases there. And there are many important judgments from Blast in our Supreme Court that are relating to our public law and constitutional law. So if you want to read some full cases, full precedents, this website is pretty impressive. All right. So now moving on, what if we want to find some UK law? As you know that Bangladeshi law is very similar. I wouldn't say similar. It is based on the same family of laws as United Kingdom, because of our colonial history and because of the tradition and culture of common law that binds these two countries and most of the subcontinent to that matter. So many of the legislations, you may have to study some UK legislation when you're doing comparative law, for instance, or when you're doing something along the lines of, contract law or commercial law. So UK legislation is important. In that regard, I would like to refer you to this website, www.legislation.gov.uk. It's the government website of the United Kingdom, and this has all the legislation totally freely accessible for anyone with an internet connection. And you can also download the legislation in PDF. You can print specific parts of the legislation. And sometimes if there are amendments or updates, there is in the footnotes the amendment history, or if an act is repealed or not enforced, even that part is written there. So it's a very good resource for you to find UK statutes and legislation. Coming to the second point, what if we had to find some common law cases and precedents? You see, when we study in our LLB first year and second year, when we study subjects like contract law, when we study subjects like land law, when we study subjects like evidence law, many of the cases we read in our textbooks are derived from United Kingdom. Many of the cases we read, they are derived from United Kingdom. So what happens is we need to be cautious that we have an access to the website that has those cases. So for UK law, I would highly recommend this website, www.bailey.org. This website is actually run by a trust It's a non-government organization called British and Irish Legal Information Institute. And this website has all the common law cases and precedents freely available. And in the later part of this workshop, where I'll be demonstrating, I will show you, I'll come back to these websites and I'll show you how to find your way around it. And if you want to research some UK Supreme Court and Court of Appeal judgments, then the Supreme Court's website slash current cases is a very good resource from where you can read and download uh, UK Supreme Court cases. All right. Now, let us discuss if we want to share, if we want to, if we want to do research on international law. So we've already covered Bangladeshi law and we've already covered UK law. Maybe you are studying public international law, or maybe you have a moot court competition coming up where you have to read up on treaties, conventions, where you have to read up on General Assembly resolutions, UNSC resolutions. You have to know the terms of a treaty, if it's a bilateral treaty, multilateral treaty. I know for a fact that those you're studying UMCs, you have a subject called international organizations that is taught by Dr. Ishraq sir. There you have to like read a lot about organizations and you need to know about treaties, the NATO treaty, other treaties. And also when you're doing research or if you're participating in JESUP, you're participating in PRICE or any other Bangladeshi, Indian, American, British moot court competitions, which I believe many of you aspire to participate. You need to like research international laws as well. And for that regard, the primary website which I'm going to refer to you is treaties.un.org. See, this is a repository that is funded and maintained by the United Nations themselves, and it has the record of all treaties currently in force from 1946 to today. Since the Second World War, basically, like after the Second World War ended, basically all the treaties, it's openly searchable. You can just go to this website, search the treaty you want to read on, and it's gonna come. Also, there is an option of doing a subject-wise search. So if you want to study like relating to women rights, or if you want to study relating to water rights, sea-based rights, you can also do that in that website, treaties.un.org. Now, for humanitarian law, which is another big subject in international law, the website by the Red Cross is very, very good. So the Red Cross website is linked in number 2, which is ihlDatabases.icrc.org/IHL. See, this database have everything relating to humanitarian law. So your Geneva Conventions, your Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, Part 4, your laws of war, laws of conduct, what to do with the refugee, what to do with the prisoner of war, any amendments, protocols, academic writings, everything is freely available. So if you have a workshop or if you have an assignment on humanitarian law, I think that you should start your work from this website and then take it from there. And also, like those of you who have studied public international law, you have already know that one of the most prominent international courts that deals with multilateral and bilateral country versus country disputes is the International Court of Justice. And ICJ have played the role of developing the international law ever since its inception. So since 1948 till today, ICJ have delivered many, many landmark precedents and judgments on pressing issues of international law. Also, they have given advisory opinions on pressing issues of international law, which is freely available for you to search, download, and read at the website attached in the slide number 3. It's the ICJ's website, and it has the list of all the cases chronologically based on the year that the decision was given. And in number 4, I'm gonna give you another link, which is for ICC cases. You see, International Criminal Court is a new court. The concept of international crimes being tried by a central court is not new, however, because we can see that there was the Eichmann trials, there was the Nuremberg trials, there were the trials for Sierra Leone, there were the trials for Rwanda, trials for even in Bangladesh, we have had a international crimes tribunal. So the concept of international crimes being punished and tried because it's jus cogens, it's a customary international law is not new. However, the International Criminal Court, it's not that old. It's pretty new. It's like less than my age. And I consider myself pretty young. So, okay, jokes aside. So that's the thing. It's a pretty new court. So all the cases and the names of the defendants, their pictures, and the stages of at which the case is in, the decisions, the judgments, the orders, everything can be downloaded, read, and researched on this website. It's the ICC's website, icc-cpi.int/cases. So you can find all the important cases there. And you'd be surprised to know that regarding the Rohingya issue and the Myanmar uh, incident, like burning their houses down and everything, there is a case ongoing in the ICC, and there are a few procedural orders and a ruling on jurisdiction given by the ICC. So those of you that wants to read it, you know how what to do now. You don't have to rely on Google. You can simply go to this link, type in Myanmar, find the judgment, and read your heart's content. All right. And for other types of research, like there are many international organizations that have rule making capabilities, and uh, many other international organizations with directives, regulations, guidelines, standards, uh, treaties, conventions, you know, specialist note, expert opinion, a lot of things. So whenever you're doing research on those areas, always the best place to start would be to go to their website. You see, like just as every organization in Bangladesh, there it be a ministry or a company or a university, they have their website, and in their website they have all the information or most of the information that gives you a good idea of who they are, what they do, what kind of work they're involved in. Similarly, all the international organizations and all the international courts and economic bodies like World Bank, IMF, and the labor bodies like ILO, maritime institutions, everybody has a website. And that website is usually friendly. You can go there, you can navigate your way across and find a lot of content that you can download and then use for your own papers you're writing, or just give it direct citations to the work that you're doing for your LLBs or LLMs, depending on which level of education you're in, University of Asia Pacific. So I believe that it's my opinion that you should definitely start your research from the specific website on which you're doing the research on. And finally, uh, during my second semester, I had to do the dissertation. So I faced the problem of, giving citations to some of the UN treaties and other materials. I didn't know how to like put it in. So then I found this website, refer.org. It's actually a website that is managed by the UNHCR, High Commission for Refugees, the UNHCR body. In Cox's Bazar, they have a very big office there, and the office building used to be a motel when I was young. In class 1 and class 2, I was in Cox's Bazar. So that was one of the motels that I had breakfast and lunch in with my family. But now it's the UNHCR office. So that's not relevant. The relevant part is it's a reliable website that's run by UNHCR. And this can actually help you cite UN documents. Like General Assembly resolutions, Supreme Court resolutions, sorry, Security Council resolutions, and other refugee law materials. So this is something that I find very helpful. So if you're ever doing a research that relies heavily upon resolutions by the UN, you can definitely check that website out. Or secondly, if you're doing a research on Rohingya refugees or Myanmar or refugees in general, so this is also a very good website for that purpose. All right. So with that, having said that, I am done with primary legislation. So, primary legislation in terms of law, usually, like primary sources, my apologies, primary sources usually include statutes and cases. Now, let us focus on secondary sources. So the secondary sources for a research is generally books and journals or articles. So regarding secondary sources, we need to be a bit cautious because usually a book is published by a publisher. Usually a book is published by a publisher and it's the intellectual property of an author, and whoever is selling is the distributor. And I would always recommend and suggest the participants in this workshop and the respected students, guests, teachers, and everyone that if possible, please buy the books with your own money. But bearing in mind that it's the pandemic and maybe it's not viable either physically, commercially, and health-wise to go to a library or get the book or buy the book. It's a gray area in terms of legality, but there is a way by which you can actually get your hands on a book and journal. So for books and journals, I'll be sharing a few websites, and after that, I'll be demonstrating how to navigate in those places. So let me share again. So for books and journals, for books, these are the two websites I use mostly. Number one is a website called tolib.org. It's a open source website that is run by, I don't know from which country, from where, but it's just like a search engine for books. They have approximately 7 million, which is in Bengali, 70 lakh books in PDF format in many disciplines. Let it be law, medicine, engineering, English, architecture, business, BBA, everything. And I even recently found a book in this website from which I could fix something on my engine, on my car's engine. So I actually found the original Toyota manual in this website. That's not relevant, but you can understand that this website is very resourceful. And the legality of this website is backed up by the fact that all of these books were uploaded by students and readers of those books. So they're just hosting the files. Uploading and everything is done. Uploading is also done by the users. Downloading is also done by the users. And this service is free. So if you're lucky, you may find the book that you're looking for in this website. And the same goes for this other website that I've tagged here. It's libgen.li. Sometimes the hyperlink changes. It's libgen.com, libgen.si, libgen.co, but it's usually libgen. So if you like type in Google libgen, this website comes up because copyright claims and other things keep happening on the second one. So that's why it's like, it changes. So this is the second best website I use for books. This is much bigger than tolib.org. It has more than 7 million. It's like, I don't know, 10, 20 million PDFs are there, all accessible freely. You just have to type the name of the book, find the edition and download it. It's as easy as that. And during the our moot court competition. I'm keep referring back to that because it is one of my biggest regrets for the pandemic that me and my teammates could not go to Netherlands. The moot competition was the oral rounds had been called off due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So that was one of my biggest regrets. And at the same time, that's one of my biggest achievements because it was a great experience for us all. So during that time, this website was a godsend. Like we got most of our research work done on the LibGen website. Obviously, we used the other one too, and the other international laws uh, websites that I've shared earlier. So this was really a very good source for information regarding legal research. And if you're from a different faculty, maybe you're teaching or a student of business, engineering, architecture, you can also find a lot of materials and books, PDFs on that website as well. Now, I will come to our second point, which is journals. What if I want articles? What if I need to find a particular article that I've discovered in maybe a footnote in a textbook, or maybe I've gotten across that article or journal in one of my teacher's online classes or one of his slides, one of our slides. So we want to find an article. Which website do we go to? You see, the same thing I've said about books also apply to articles as well, because generally there is a subscription basis, and there are different journals. They take out printed copies, and our money is involved, intellectual property is involved. But still, there are two websites, booksc.org and libgen.li. These two websites, they have over 80 million articles on many disciplines, published articles, mind you, like let me rephrase, published journal articles freely available. So you can search your article by author name, which year, or the name of the journal. It can be like Cambridge Law Review, European Union Law Review, Criminal Law Digest. Many journals are there. All right. So you can like use the journal name and then search your article that you're looking for. And also the second website I've already mentioned, libgen.li, it's the same thing. But during the search, you just click on something else. I'm going to be showing you. So you can use these two links for doing your research as well. Now, if I have everyone's permission, I would like to take you to some of the websites I have already shared in my slide, if I may. So let me start with the Bangladeshi website, because I am a proud Bangladeshi. So let me start with the Bangladeshi website. I've already said we're looking for legislation and statutes. The best website, in my opinion, would be the website by the People's Republic of Bangladesh, the Legislative and Parliamentary Affairs website. So this is all the legislation from 1799 to 2021. And you can see that since 1987, the acts are in Bengali. So if you just click on any of it, you can see, like if I click on 2021, this year, the year of the pandemic, already 6 acts of parliament have been enacted. So it is like Intermediate and Secondary Education Amendment Act, Karigori Shiksha Board সংশোধন Ain, Travel Agency Nibandhan ও Niyantron সংশোধন Ain, Civil Courts Amendments Act, Sheikh Hasina Medical Vishwavidyalay Act. All right, so you can definitely access all your legislations of Bangladesh from this website. Now, secondly, if you wanted to do the same for United Kingdom laws, you can easily go to the similar website of UK, which is legislation.gov.uk. This has I hope the screen is being shared properly. So this has a search bar, the year you want to look for, the number of act, etc. So just don't change anything. Maybe you're looking for the Company Act of UK. I click enter and it's gonna come. Here it is. Companies Act 2006. And the reason I showed this act because I had the privilege of teaching company law. I had the privilege of teaching company law, and the legislation is more than 1200 pages long. So it's a pretty daunting piece of legislation to carry around in a printed copy, but it's much more manageable in a soft version, in a laptop or a smartphone, or in a digital device. All right. Now what if you wanted to look for some cases, some UK cases or similar? So what you do is you go to the other website that I've shared, Bailey, and let me just share it. Let me just share it. Just give me 1 second. And here it is. So don't read anything else. It's not important. All you need to do is this is the search bar. This is the search bar that you need to use. So most of you have probably read this case in your first year LLB. Is the case called Carlisle and Carbolic Smoke Bomb. It's that case where is it an offer or an invitation to treat? I believe you guys have read it. So I just typed that in, and the case is here, and you can read the whole judgment. It's freely available. You want to quote something? Just take it. Uh, find out the name of the justice who said it, and this is the citation. 7 December 1892. Sorry, this is the citation. Queen's Bench, Volume 1, 256 page. And there you go. And you can even download it in a printable PDF version. So if you're inclined to do so, you can do that as well. Then I would also want to show you the UN Treaty Repository. I think most of you are doing research on public international law, or maybe you want to find a treaty. So that's also a very important resource, in my opinion. So you want to do that. So what you do is you go to the website treaties.un.org, and there it is. This is the website. So this has all the treaties that two countries or more than two countries, multilateral, they have signed. They are in this website. If a country has signed a treaty, it can be even some unknown African or Asian states that you've never heard about. They're signing a small treaty, like what would be the tax of, let's say, ginger, or what would be the tax of an imported Japanese car. If they sign a treaty with two countries, it's in this repository. However, a research point or brownie point that I would like to share, if it's an MOU, a memorandum of understanding, an MOU will not make it in this website. So it has to have the status of a treaty. And there is even a subscription here, like free. You can give your email, and they will give you a summary of all the recent treaties that are being conducted on the international level. And you can openly search the website. If there is a particular treaty you're looking for, you can search it there, and it's gonna pop up easily. All right. Now, the moment we've all been waiting for, like how to download books and journals. So let me just start with books, because I think maybe in my personal experience, whenever I have to buy some law books, I felt that if it was a Bangladeshi book, it was widely available. If it's by one of the notable authors and publication is in Bangladesh, either by Malik Brothers or DLR, BLD, it's available. However, if it's an international book that is widely used by the public and private universities in their LLB or LLM modules, the book is available in Nilkhet or other libraries. However, the book is not generally the most latest edition. And it turns out sometimes the book, the photocopy that you can buy in Nilkhet, they're more than 10 years, 15 years old, if not more. I'm being generous here. All right. So Bearing that in mind, we may not always get the 2020, 2021 version, but for our classes, for our courses, maybe a 2 or 3 year old edition or 5 year old edition would just be just as good, because the updates are usually small. From I have a book here. I don't know if I can show it. So this is a book that I use. This book is in its 19th edition. This book is in its 19th edition, and the first edition was in 1935. Now, why am I showing this to you? I'm showing this to you because I actually had the fortune of having a copy of the third edition of this book at a senior's chamber, like a senior practitioner. In his set of chambers, I saw the third edition, and I'm pretty familiar with the 19th edition because that's the book I bought when I was a student. And when I opened the book up, I could see that most of the things were very similar. Maybe the font size changed, maybe the categorization of the chapters have changed, but the book is mostly the same. So the point I'm trying to make is you may not find the most latest editions in this website because, for copyright and other issues, but you will find an edition that is recent enough to be used for your research and for your classes. So having said that, let me take you to the website that I've already shared in the slide. And one more thing, the slide that I've showed in this workshop will be shared with all of you. So I'll be forwarding the slide to Saleh Akram sir, and also I'll be replying in the thread email so that you all have access to this website that I was shared in this workshop. All right. So this is the website that I showed you, the one for books. It's toolib.org, toolib.org. And it used to be called Z Library, but the name keeps changing. Basically, this is the format. So you can see there are like different etc, not relevant. So what if I want to search a book? Maybe you are doing a class on comparative law, for instance. So let me just type comparative law and click enter. Okay. So I've typed in comparative law and I've clicked enter, search. So you see, I'm already finding really good textbooks on comparative law. This is the Comparative Constitutional Law by Michael Rosenfield, published by Oxford. This is another one, Oxford Handbook of Comparative Law, published by Oxford University Press. The author is Matthias Riemann and Zimmerman. I believe that those who did classes of Dr. Mizanur Rahman Khan sir, they've heard the name Zimmerman in the class. All right. Then you can also find many other books on comparative law. Now we want to be more specific. What if we want to find a book by an author called McKendrick, for instance? Very popular book. See, I typed in contract by McKendrick. So I typed in the name of the book and the name of the author. And here it is. I found it. See, I even found a very recent edition, a 2017 edition of this book. Okay. 2016 edition. So all I have to do to download this book is click on it. The book is here. I hope everyone can see. And you can just click download. So this one is copyright stricken. That book has been copyright stricken. No worries. You can just download this one. See, you click on download and it's in your desktop. So you can simply view it for later. Now, I know that some of you are not students of law. Maybe you want to find a book on engineering, for instance. So I don't know much about engineering, but there is a famous book, Calculus. It's like a book with a sign. When I was a student, I saw a lot of my friends reading that book. Is this book, Calculus, James Stewart. See, you can just download this book and it will be on your computer, and you can easily download and do the maths. right? And what if you're not into like education? You're like, I want to download other sort of books like novels and you know storybooks, etc. So as we've already cited Dan Brown, you see, he said Google is not the synonym of research. So let's just try to search him. Let's just try to search him. And as soon as I click Dan Brown and search, already his famous books are coming. Da Vinci Code, Angels and Demons, The Lost Symbol, Deception Point, Inferno, etc., etc., etc. Digital Fortress. I think Digital Fortress is the best one. Like I've read all of his books when I was a bit younger. Like when I had time to read books which are not related to education. So now I don't, but back then I did. Maybe I'll find the time, inshallah, in the future when I'm a bit more senior. So even you can find books from other disciplines and other readerships. All right. Now coming back to our second point, which is the what if I want to find some journals? For journals, I'm just going to show you LibGen because that website has both books and journals. See, like, let me just share the screen.
Farhan, why don't you let the students propose a name, maybe a particular article, and then you could try to see whether you can download it from them. I think that will be
Definitely,
much more
definitely,
effective. I think any of the
definitely.
students, if you want any particular article just to see, you could ask him, and then just to show you how it's done. Any of you who wants to ask him something, you could. He could tell you directly right now. Any of the UM sales students or anyone else? Any
If you
particular
want,
journal article or book?
if there are any articles or books you want me to find, just tell me the name. I'll show it how it's found. Like I'm pretty sure you've been given a lot of books to download and read for your classes in UM sales. Okay, I can see the chat box. Few messages. Nazia Wahab said, "Can we access journal from Hein Online?" Unfortunately, ma'am, you need to know the name of the article. Then you can probably find it. But the database of Hein Online cannot be accessed by the website. Okay. FIDIC contracts, law and practice. That's a good one. Let's see. Let's see. Let's try that one. I hope it's there. Okay, so FIDIC contract, law and practice. So I go to library Genesis, I type in FIDIC contract, and the book is here. Ishaq sir, can you see it?
Yes, I can see that.
Yeah, see, this is the book someone requested. FIDIC contract, law and practice. It's by Mr. Ellis Baker, Ben Mellor, Scott Chalmers, Anthony Levers, and you can download it here. And these are the download links. Like you see, I know that some of it is in Russian. Just ignore that. You download in the last line. You see GenLib, LibGen, Z library. There are many blue links on the very bottom of the page. You click any of these links and you can download the book. It's available. Okay, let me go back to the chat box if there's any other request. What about the article from JSTORE? You mean JSTOR? Okay. Mr. Aman, for JSTOR, you need to know the name of the article. You need to know the name of the article so that you can find the article. If you don't know the name of the article, then I'm afraid that it's going to be difficult for you to find it. If you know the name of the article, it's easy to find the article. Now, let's just say that we are looking for an article by, okay, principles. Okay, let me just go back. Principles of Environmental Law by Philip Sands. That's a good one. Let's try that. Principles of Environmental Law by Philip Sands. Okay. So for that, we're gonna go back to LibGen and website. I hope it's being shared. Principles of International. Oh, I've already done the search. Maybe during when I was a student. Here it is. But sadly, my learned friend, the fourth edition is not available. You can, for the time being, make do with the third edition. Just the Paris Agreement and Paris Accord is missing. Most of the international environmental law, like polluter pays and everything, will remain the same between the third and the fourth, I believe, because this was in 2012. So yeah, so you can do some research. I mean, it's not the be all end all. It's a point from which you can start your work. All right. Then Ms. Nazia Wahab ma'am has said, Michigan Law Review, Volume 79, Constitutional Torts, Christina Whitman. All right, let's do that. Let's do constitutional torts. My learned friend Takbir in Bangladesh has been doing a lot of writing on constitutional torts lately. So let me just share the tab. And so if you want to search articles, what you need to do is you need to click on scientific articles here. Usually it's there, but you have to click the second one, scientific articles, and then constitutional torts, Christina Whitman. Click on search and searching. And it's available. Michigan Law Review, Volume 79, Issue 1, Christina Whitman. Ms. Wahab, ma'am, I hope you can see this. The paper is right here. So to download, you just click on this, and it's gonna download. Click on get. You can also use your phone to scan this and download it on your phone if that is something you'd like to do. But it takes a while to download. Like it usually takes 2 to 3 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes to download it because it's from a Russian server, you know, and Russia is not the most high-tech countries out there. All right. We have another request from Mr. Abdul Rahim sir. He said constitutional foundings in Southeast Asia. So let us try that. Let us try if that book is available. But I mean, I hope you guys are getting the idea of how to, like, you know, navigate and find the materials that you need. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the tab for LibGen, and I'm going to type in the name of the book. It is Constitutional Foundings in Southeast Asia. No, I'm afraid this book is not available. I'm sorry. This book is not there.
It just came out in January 2021. That's why it's not available.
Yeah, it usually takes 2-3 years for someone to buy the PDF copy and them to be generous to share on the database. So latest books you're not gonna find, but you're gonna find something that's workable. I mean, having some resources is better than not having resources at all. Sorry. Okay then. So I think with that, our looking for books on LibGen is over. So let us try this other website just shortly. You can also, the other thing I showed you, the 2Lib website. Even in that one, you can search for articles. So if you just click on here, articles, you can also like search for articles here. So if I were to search for the same article that Ms. Nazia ma'am requested, I can just search it here, the name and the name of the author, and voila, here it is. Constitutional Torts, Christina Whitman, Michigan Law Review, published in year 1980. It's in PDF. The file size is 7.70 megabytes. So you can also use that one to look for articles. So with that, I believe that, okay, Mr. Saif Rasul said international trade law, Indira Carr and Peter Stone. I actually used this book in one of my classes. I use it for international commercial law. It's a very good book. I think the 8th edition is already available. If you just look, you'll find it. It's like the book with the cover of the ship, like the ship's uh, wave, and the other side there are some containers. That edition is available, Mr. Rasul. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. So with that, if you have any particular questions, you can ask me. If you have any particular questions, you can ask me, or you can, if I'm gone, you can definitely drop me an email. You can definitely drop me an email, which I'm sharing on the screen. I will try my level best to look for the answer that you may have for me. Or if you want me to add me on LinkedIn, that's my profile. Thank you everyone for attending and paying attention to this workshop. It has indeed been a pleasure to take this workshop for University of Asia Pacific, a place which I hold dear to my heart, and being an alumnus of this reputed institution and being a part of the first batch of UMCS family. Thank you everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Farhan. Now I would like to invite Dr. Chaudhry Ishaq Ahmed Siddiqui, the head of the Department of Law and Human Rights, to give a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Saleh Akram, sir. Thank you, Mr. Farhan Araf. I'd like to thank Dr. Alauddin, sir. I think he was here, honorable member of BOT, and our Professor Tanvir Firdos, director of IERD. I think he was here as well. I think he has left as well. And I want to thank all the faculties who have come over here tonight, and all the students as well. I think the purpose of today's workshop is just to navigate your way into finding books and journal articles when you don't have access to library. Obviously, we are not being able to provide you that access because of COVID-19 pandemic, and you're also not being able to come to the university. So in order to get around that, we have organized this workshop, and I hope this workshop helps you. I mean, you're going to have your advanced legal research class next semester, and also you may have, if you have any books or journal articles that is in your further reading, I think this search engines that Mr. Barrister Farhan Araf has showed you, you could use those search engines, and you could also email him and ask for any help that you think he might be able to help you in that regard. So I want to thank everyone, and I also thank Barrister Farhan Araf for conducting this workshop and all the students for attending it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
I think Saleh Akram, sir, is he here or? He's not here as well. I think with that, I think we will end the workshop. Does anybody have any questions? Do any of the students have any questions? If you have any questions, you can ask him. No questions, anybody?
Sir, I have a question to
Yes,
ask.
please do.
Hello, hope you are well. So, as you mentioned about Manupatra, so we can get related laws from Manupatra. So, when it comes to referring these in the legal research, what we are given, so does it work like LexisNexis? Like we will just we can just using the scholar system we can refer the articles or laws.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for your question. Basically, whenever you're writing a paper, you have to decide which method of citation you'll be using for the paper. If you're studying in an English university, like, I'm pretty sure you're from English background, as you refer Oscola. Oscola has a set of guidelines that you have to follow to cite the cases and the materials. So that's one way of doing it. If you're in UAP, maybe they prefer APA or Chicago citation. So that's when you're doing a paper in University of Asia Pacific, ask your teacher which citation method would they prefer. So if they prefer APA or Chicago citation or Oscola, you follow that consistently. And generally, if you know how to reference your sources in one method, it's not that hard to learn another method. Usually it's like either the first name goes first or second, or if there are more than one author, it's it or something like that. Or if it's a case law that you want to refer to, there are rules regarding that first the case name, then the year, then where it's reported, which court. If you just follow that, regardless of where you find the material, Manupatra, LibGen, or otherwise, you'll be able to cite your reference properly. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Any other questions?
Any other questions, anybody? No? Okay, so if anyone doesn't have any more questions, I think with that, I think we'll end that workshop. Thank you everyone for attending the workshop, and thank you, Ambassador Farhan Araf, again for your lovely presentation. Thank you. Thank you everyone. Good night.
Thank you everyone.